Welcome everyone. It is our first module of the first lecture on the history of Bengal art and architecture. This is the minimum requirement for this course is that you already completed your history of art and architecture 5. And to complete the history of art and architecture 5, you already have completed history of art and architecture 1, 2, 3 and 4. So at this point, it is assumed that you already have some understanding of the evolution of human race and their architecture from ancient time to the present day. As it names, this course will zoom into the Bengal territory and shows a competitive global perspective of its architecture. To understand the history of Bengal art and architecture, we should have a clear idea about what is Bengal and its history. This is the introductory lecture of this course, and this module will primarily focus on the idea of Bengal and its geographical extent. Bengal, Bangla or Bongo is a geographical, cultural and historical region in South Asia. In a general sense, politically, Bengal is currently divided between Bangladesh and the Indian state of West Bengal and Tripura. According to the census of 2011, Bengal's population is more than 250 million. That makes it one of the most densely populated region in the world. Interestingly, the people of West Bengal or Paschim Bongo use the Bongo to mark this land, whereas in Bangladesh we call it Bangla. We have very limited knowledge of ancient Bengal. As far as we know, the name of Bengal or Bangla is derived from the ancient kingdom of Bongo or the Bongo Janapad. There is a scholarly speculation that the Bongo is derived from Benga, which is probably a Proto-Austric word means sun god. According to the Aini Akbari of Abul Fazl, in ancient times people used to call this land as Bengal, which was formed from two parts, Bongo with the suffix al. This al is probably means the land or land boundary. Till now, the word al is in use in Bengal for the agricultural land as boundary. Most probably, the Arabs pronounce it as Bangahal. Later, the Pathan sultans conquered the region. They started calling it Bangala in Pashto. The Mughals also used the term in Urdu too. The Portuguese learned from the Mughals and they pronounce it as Bangala. Finally, the British made it Bengal. Whatever the name is, it was a small portion of land compared to the present day's idea about Bengal. Evidence shows that this land or its part was known as a different name during a different period. Before going to explore in depth of the historical or political boundary and their identity, let us try to explore the formation of this land and its development. To understand the formation of this land, we have to go back at least 300 million years ago from the present day. According to the continental drift theory, the world was a singular mass about 300 million years ago as a supercontinent, which is called Pangaea. Further, the theory explained that the Indian subcontinent mass was between the South American or Australian mass on the Pangaea. This plate moves from there towards the Eurasian plate and its collide about 10 million years ago. This collision is the reason behind the formation of the Himalayas and the topographical formation of the subcontinental landmass. If we zoom into our Bengal plate, we see that this land is naturally bounded by large or small mountains from three sides, east, west and north, which was the result of the tectonic collision. The land gradually blended into the southern sea, which is known as the Bay of Bengal. The two largest rivers of the subcontinent flows into this land and most of the land of Bengal is the valley of Ganges and Brahmaputra. The Bengal Delta, which is the largest river delta in the world, is the result of the siltation from the Ganges and Brahmaputra. It is also one of the most fertile regions in the world, thus earning the nickname the Green Delta. That is why Bengal was always attracted outsider to capture and rule. Many nations from the nearby neighborhood to the far as from Europe tries to conquer it. Bengal was seldom under any foreign rule for a very long time due to the special geographical characteristics. People who tries to rule Bengal from a very distant place hardly succeed. Only those become good ruler in Bengal who fused into it and with its culture. The natural boundary also protect the land from foreign invasions. Only there were few channels to get into this land for the foreign peoples. There is a misconception that the Bengal is the Bengal Delta, which is not very old. But in reality, other than the delta, most of the Bengal, which is primarily the valleys of Ganges and Brahmaputra, are at least 10 million years old. As we know, traces of early human race is only 200 to 100,000 years old. Even the Bengal Delta is probably more than a million years old. However, the fertile delta has a key impact on the people of this land. Many branches of Ganges and Meghna river flows through the delta and they form a net. The land between those river network is less than 10 meter high from the water level. That's why people of this land lives between water and land, and their primary mode of communication was the river or waterways. Those estuaries were in touch with the saline water and fresh water. The mixing of seawater and fresh water provides high level of nutrition, makes them among the most productive natural habitat in the world. So the Bengal Delta was a natural selection for the early human when they migrated to the subcontinent about some 70,000 years ago. The delta has a natural boundary with the sea through the largest continuous mangrove forest in the world, the Sundarban. The Sundarban mangrove forest cover an area of about 10,000 square kilometers. The forest provide habitat to 453 wildlife, including 290 birds, 120 fishes, 42 mammals, 35 reptiles, and 8 amphibian species. It is a home to the endangered Bengal tiger, shark, crocodiles, and freshwater dolphin. Roughly 80% of the landmass is made of fertile alluvial flatland called the Plain of Bengal, which is sometimes called the Lower Gangetic Plain. Although there is land up to 105 meters above the sea level in the northern part of the plain, most land is less than 10 meters above sea level. There are two large upland areas in the northern part of Bengal. They are Madhupur Tract and the Barinth Tract. Those two, along with the adjacent place of peripheral large hill area, are very old. Geologically, they may from during the Pleistocene or late Miocene age, which is around 2.5 million to 10 million years old. The clay of those tract is mostly red or brown and less fertile compared to the land of Bengal Delta. In Bengali, there are 4 types of lakes: Baur, Haur, Jhil, and Bil, all freshwater wetlands. The core Haur area, the Haur basin or the Sylhet basin, is estimated to spread over an area between 4,000 to 25,000 square kilometers. The total area of Haur type wetlands ecosystem in Bengal is approximately more than 100,000 square kilometers. The variation of the land also behind the generation of subculture in Bengal plain. Historically, many Janapad or small territories evolved in many parts of Bengal. They had their own identity for that period, but later it may merge into another one and sometimes generates a new identity. In many cases, the main element of the creation and recreation of the territory is political, though there are some geographical elements too. This map of post-Gupta Bengal shows at least 6 small territories, which was merged into a large territory during the Pala period. We have heard about the Bhanga, Shamotat, Harikal, and many other territories of Bengal historically. We will further know about those territories from our later lectures. In this lecture, we tried to know about what is Bengal, its geographical features, and their impact on cultural territories. As we progress this course, we will learn how Bengal architecture evolves and flourishes with time. Thanks for joining us on this journey.